Not every voice that sings of heaven belongs to an angel. Some melodies hide sins too loud for even silence to cover. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please like, subscribe and follow for more. Now let's get back to the story.
In the heart of Egbu, a small town nestled between old hills and lazy rivers, stood a church everyone knew. It was more than a place of worship. It was a community's pride, where weddings began, where tears ended, and where gossip was baptized in hallelujahs every Sunday. But the real reason the church was famous had nothing to do with the pastor or the miracles. It was because of her, Chisom Nwafor, the girl with a voice that could make angels jealous. When she sang, even those who came late to service would run, slippers in hand, just to hear her. The elders nodded in rhythm, mothers wiped tears, and youths stared like they were hearing heaven itself open. Her voice had become a testimony the town never stopped talking about. Chisom was only 24, beautiful in that simple, graceful way that didn't need makeup. Her skin glowed like palm oil under sunlight, and her eyes carried a quiet depth that made people trust her instantly. Every Sunday morning, she wore her long white choir gown, ironed to perfection, her hair tied in a neat bun and a silver cross around her neck. When she walked in, people whispered, "That's the girl God specially anointed for worship." She led the choir with a calm confidence that felt divine. When she sang, "You are worthy, O Lord," it was said that even the walls trembled. To outsiders, she was everything a Christian girl should be. Prayerful, gentle, always smiling, always serving. To her mother, she was a blessing after years of sorrow. To the pastor, she was the pride of the congregation. And to many men, she was a dream clothed in righteousness. But what no one knew, not the church, not her mother, not even the pastor, was that Chisom's holiness was the song built on guilt. 3 years before she became Egbu's heavenly voice, Chisom was just another struggling student at UNEC. Her father, once a respected school teacher, had fallen ill and died suddenly, leaving behind debts that almost swallowed the family. Rent was unpaid, school fees were pending. Every week eviction hung over their heads like a curse. She prayed, fasted, and begged God to help, but hunger does not listen to faith when it bites deep. That was when Deacon Oti entered her life. He was wealthy, smooth-talking, with the kind of confidence that came from power and money. He noticed her one Sunday after choir administration and told her, "My daughter, the Lord has blessed you with a voice that can open heavens. You deserve better than these struggling days." At first, he sounded kind. He bought her textbooks, gave her transport money, and promised to sponsor her education for God's work. But one night, his kindness changed. It started with a dinner invitation, just to discuss your future. By the end of that night, her innocence was gone, stolen behind the closed curtains of a fancy hotel room. She hated herself afterwards. She cried for days, fasted, begged God for forgiveness. But when school fees came due again and her mother fell sick, she found herself back in the same car, accepting the same money. It became a secret trade, her voice for his silence. Every time she sang, she imagined God frowning down at her, but she needed the money to survive. After graduation, Chisom returned home with savings, not from jobs, but from shame. Yet she told everyone that God favored her in Enugu. Her mother believed her and danced with gratitude. The town celebrated her return. When she joined the choir, her talent instantly stood out. She bought new microphones, donated uniforms, and funded youth programs. The pastor was amazed. "The Lord has truly sent a helper through you, Sister Chisom," he said. Soon, she was appointed music leader, then worship coordinator. She led crusades, sang at weddings, and even represented the town in regional gospel concerts. Everyone loved her. Even the pastor's wife once said during testimony time, if all our daughters were like Sister Chisom, heaven would be overcrowded. But only Chisom knew that every hallelujah was borrowed from sin. One cool Friday evening during choir rehearsal, a new face appeared. Brother Ebuka, a young man recently transferred from the city, quiet, humble, and spiritually sensitive. When Chisom sang that night, everyone clapped except him. He stood still, eyes fixed on her, as if hearing something no one else could. After rehearsal, he walked up to her. Sister, your voice is beautiful. But do you know, beauty can hide brokenness? She nervously smiled. I don't understand, brother. Sometimes, the Spirit reveals what melody tries to cover. There's pain in your worship and guilt in your eyes. Be careful. Confess before your gift condemns you. Chisom froze. How could he know? She forced a laugh and walked away, but that night his words echoed like thunder. Confess before your gift condemns you. 2 weeks later, preparations began for the annual Thanksgiving service. Chisom was leading the main worship. It was to be her grandest performance yet. The town had printed banners with her face on them. The hall was packed. When she lifted the microphone and began to sing, "You are Alpha and Omega," the congregation rose in worship. Then suddenly, a loud voice from the back of the church broke through the service. Stop this song! Stop these lies! Heads turned. It was Madam Oti, the deacon's wife, wrapped in fury. She stormed down the aisle shouting, "This is the girl my husband destroyed our home for. You all worship her, but she's the devil's singer." Gasps filled the air. Mothers covered their mouths. Men shook their heads. The pastor stumbled backwards. Chisom tried to speak. "Please, I was desperate. I didn't mean to." But no one listened. Whispers grew louder. "Ha, Chisom, that anointed girl. Ah, devil truly wears white gown." The pastor looked at her with disappointment. "You have brought shame to this altar. Until further notice, step down from all duties." Her knees hit the floor. Her mother fainted in the crowd. That evening, the video leaked online. Within hours, her name became a topic of gossip. The same people who once called her anointed now called her Ashawo. Days turned into weeks. Chisom stopped leaving the house. Children mocked her. Her mother refused to eat, crying, "Why, Chisom? You brought disgrace to our name." Eventually, Chisom packed a small bag and left town. Rumors said she moved to another state. Others claimed she lost her mind. In truth, she went to a small village near Nsukka, working as a cleaner in a quiet riverside church. No one knew her name. No one called her anointed. She sat at the back every Sunday weeping silently while others worshipped. Months later, during a night vigil, the pastor called for testimonies. No one stood except her. Her hands trembled as she took the microphone. "My name is Chisom. I once sang for the world but lived in sin. I deceived many with my voice, but God's mercy found me." She confessed everything, the money, the lies, the scandal. And for the first time, she felt light. When she finished, the pastor said, "God does not recycle trash. He restores treasure. You were never his mistake, only his lesson." He gave her the microphone. "Now, sing again, not for the people, but for the God who still wants you." She closed her eyes and softly sang, "Lord, I have fallen, but don't cast me away." Tears flowed as the congregation joined her. For the first time, her song was true. A year later, on a rainy Sunday, the pastor in Egbu was preaching about forgiveness when he paused. At the door stood Chisom, drenched, holding a small Bible. The crowd gasped. She walked to the altar and knelt. "I came to say I'm sorry, not because I want my position back, but because I want my peace back." The pastor helped her up. "You were lost, but now you are found." The congregation clapped softly, then louder. That day she sang again, one song, no microphone, no music. Mercy said, "No, I'm not going to let you go." It echoed through the hall, pure as rainfall. Today, Chisom travels, sharing her story. She speaks to young girls about temptation and grace. People no longer call her the girl who fell. They call her the woman whose voice found God.